A pleasant good evening and welcome to Warriors Stadium on the campus of Penn-Trafford High School in Penn Township, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky and Vince Russo on the call for you for this WPIAL 5A Big East Conference matchup. And Vince, it's the battle for the bell for the first time since 2019, and this was one of those conference games a season ago that we didn't have an opportunity to see.
Yeah, making up for lost time. Weren't able to get this one on the schedule last year due to COVID. And so, once again, as we anticipated this game in 2020, the Big East kind of runs through this game. Whoever comes away with the victory here is the odds-on favorite to take the conference title moving forward. You look at Gateway's remainder of the schedule. They got Woodland Hills next week, who's shown an inability to score points consistently. They've got Connellsville, which has yet to win a game this season. You've got Franklin Regional, which hasn't really defined itself or has a true identity as a team. So I tend to think if the Gators can take care of business tonight and eke out a win on the road against a tough Warriors team, they've got a clear shot at winning the title and improving that seeding for the WPIAL playoffs.
And yet again, the story of the game for the Gateway Gators is, can they stop the run, number one, and number two, are they able to move the ball offensively?
Well, let's hope the rain holds off. That might be a big issue. But Brad Birch is coming off his most complete performance of the season. 298 yards, 3 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown to boot. But most importantly, no interceptions, no errors. Granted, they were playing Latrobe. They weren't playing Thomas Jefferson or Pine Richland, but he played a clean game. They played very disciplined. I thought from an offensive perspective, it was the most complete performance we saw from the Gators this season.
Obviously, the Gators were able to run the ball a bit last week with Jaquan Reynolds, but really what impressed me most was the fact that we started to see Brett Birch play a role in the offense.
He did. Had a really nice touchdown catch where he was able to shake a couple would-be defenders on the way to the end zone, flashed some speed, got to the outside. And so the more playmakers that they can count on, the more chemistry that Birch develops with his arsenal around him, the more difficult it's going to be for teams to game plan against this Gators offense because they've got so many guys that can get the ball to consistently.
Let's talk a bit about the Gateway defense, and yet again, kind of touched on it, but the big key is, can Gateway stop a rushing attack? Because they've had trouble doing so this season.
Yeah, and in both of those games, not to deflect away from the defense, but the offense hasn't done their part in staying on the field and sustaining drives. And so, you look specifically at Pine Richland, at Thomas Jefferson. They were on the field for lion's share of the game. They had to really play tough, 35 minutes out on the field. And so, can they, from the three facets of the game, really hunker down? Penn-Trafford has a lot of size. I don't know that they have the size that Thomas Jefferson does. But again, this is, coming into this game, my thought was this is the third litmus test that this team, the Gators, have seen this season. They didn't pass the first two. They have an opportunity to make a statement win tonight and really solidify their preseason hype as a favorite in 5A.
Touched on it earlier, but it's the battle of the bell, and right now the bell belongs to the Penn-Trafford Warriors after a 28-7 victory back on August 30th, 2019. The Penn-Trafford Warriors defeating the Gateway Gators, so it's their bell for now. Gateway wants to take it back to Monroeville.
Absolutely, and again, I think, seriously, if the rain holds off and doesn't shift the complexity of this game from a standpoint of throwing the ball, I really like Birch coming off of a complete performance against Latrobe. There's some momentum. I really like the way that this Gators offense is starting to click and run on all cylinders. I think it's going to be very difficult for Penn-Trafford to shut the Gators down.
One story obviously is going to be the bell, but one kind of hidden story, and it was touched on in the media throughout the week, is the familiarity, not just between these two teams, but between the Penn-Trafford coaching staff and the Gateway players because of the number of Gateway teachers that are Penn-Trafford coaches.
Absolutely, and I mean, it all starts at the top. You have, your head coach has been a teacher at Gateway for years. He was a graduate at Gateway in class of 96, played a little quarterback for the Gators. And so John Ruin is someone who is no stranger, knows a lot of these players on a personal basis. I wonder if there was any trash talk in the classroom throughout the week.
I really don't know how much of that there would take place. John Ruin, a bigger fella, to say the least, an intimidating presence. But not to mention, not just him, but at Moss-Side Middle School, Garrett Schmidt, one of the coaches for Penn-Trafford. At Gateway High School, Dave Ruby is one of the Penn-Trafford coaches. So, a lot of familiarity, not just between the teams, but the coaches and the players as well. It will be Gateway kicking off to begin this football game. They wear the road whites, white jerseys, white pants, black numerals with the black trim on the pants, and the gold helmets with Gators in cursive on the sides of their lids. Near sideline are the Penn-Trafford Warriors as they wear they're all green uniforms, green jerseys, green pants, white numerals, green lids with the yellow arrows on both sides. And Cole Plaskin will kick it away. And we are underway in Harrison City, Pennsylvania. End over end kick back down towards the 8-yard line where it'll be returned by Seth Dunlap. Dunlap will get out towards the 30, maybe the 31-yard line where the tackle is made by Jameer Harbor. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Penn-Trafford Warriors at that point.
Not a lot of empty seats here at Warrior Stadium tonight. This is maybe the most electric atmosphere that we've seen thus far through 6 games. And take another look at the return there. Decent field position. See Gateway tightening things up after allowing a return touchdown, the only score they allowed against Latrobe.
2 receivers bunched to the right, 1 to the far side left. Down to the ground go the Penn-Trafford Warriors, and Cade Yakimelli is the ball carrier. Nowhere for him to go as the Gators are all in the backfield there. And a loss of about 1 back towards the 30. We'll say just inside of the 31, so not quite a loss of 1. Brings up 2nd down and about 10.
Yakimelli, he is the workhorse, 10 touchdowns on the season, gets around 10 touches a game. He's a Wisconsin commit. He has been excellent thus far this season.
Carter Greene, the senior quarterback, back in the shotgun, and a flag down before the snap. So legal substitution against Penn-Trafford is going to move them back 5 yards, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 15 as the ball placed just shy of the 26. So again, it's Greene in the shotgun with 2 wings split to either side, and he's going to run it himself, and not a whole heck of a lot of room over that right side as he's brought down by a host of Gators leading the charge for Gateway's Lewis Douglas.
Greene also going to carry the ball a decent amount. He's got 8 touchdowns on the season. Both these guys average about 10 carries a game. Greene just 32 for 58 on the season throwing the ball. They don't go to the air very often. 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for the quarterback.
Pistol formation this time with Yakimelli behind Greene. Now he'll motion, setting a empty backfield to the left. Greene rolls to the left. Pressured, hit, wrapped, and brought down hard. And it's Lewis Douglas. 2 straight plays for Lewis Douglas.
My goodness, got that 5'10", 225-pound frame, wrapped up Greene and just threw him like a rag doll down to the turf. Greene's going to remember that one. The next time he sees 43 in the backfield, he might try to throw that ball just a little quicker instead of trying to hold on to it and make a play. That's excellent, excellent job by Douglas to break down, make the sure tackle in open field.
So the punt unit on for Penn-Trafford with the ball back to the 20-yard line. And it's booted away, and we'll head towards the Gateway sideline, bounce out of bounds near the midfield stripe, and this will be up to the official on that far sideline to determine where the ball is going to be spotted. And they'll say inside of Warriors territory at the 46-yard line, so great starting field position for Birch and the Gateway Gators offense.
Yeah, official just kept on marching, and so the Gators get to start their first possession of the night in enemy territory and see if they go to the ground game here early with Reynolds, who's been a consistent option for them all season long, or do you go after a short punt and a quick 3 and out? Do you try and take a shot deep looking for a guy like Patrick Bodie?
We saw Pine Richland do something like that to the Gateway Gators after an interception thrown by Birch, returned to the 46, a quick play towards the 3, and then 1 play later, the Rams were into the end zone. Let's see what the Gators do here with similar field position. So Birch in the shotgun, Reynolds to his left, 2 receivers stacked to the short side right, and 1 receiver to the wide side left. Now Brett Birch motions, but they'll hand off to Reynolds. And Reynolds drives his way forward inside of the 40 and brought down towards the 38-yard line where the tackle is made by Seth Dunlap.
Reynolds has been such a revelation for this offense and is, I think, such an underrated component of their production. They keep them balanced. Reynolds, not only a great ball carrier, but catches the ball very well out of the backfield, whether it be bubble screens or running back flies out of the backfield. He has been excellent. 2nd
and 2. Gators going to go to the ground again. Reynolds with the hesitation. Now bursts his way forward, shows some strength as he gets towards the 35-yard line before being shoved back by a host of green jerseys. Tackled by Jack Jolly, but not before Gateway picks up the first down to the 35.
A good vision by Reynolds. Take a look. Nothing going there to the right, so he's able to cut it back and then just puts his head down and gets just enough good awareness there to get past the sticks, get the first down.
Gateway speeding things up here. Birch to the air, throws it to Dallas Harper, and he has nowhere to go as he's hit in the backfield, a loss of about 4. Tackled by Seth Dunlap. And they'll say a loss of 3 to the 38, and that brings up 2nd and 13.
Oh, Adam, that was an incredibly dangerous throw there. And you got to put your receiver in a position not to take a hit like that in the rib cage. But I'm just impressed that Harper was able to come down with that one. He took quite the shot, but he didn't juggle that whatsoever. That was a nice catch.
I misspoke on the tackle. It was Jacob Otto on the stop for the Penn-Trafford Warriors. Now Birch in the shotgun, straight drop back, steps up into the pocket, has some room as he runs to his left-hand side, inside of the 35 and down towards the 30. So a nice pickup there of about 8 before he steps out of bounds. So Birch showing some wheels, and that makes it a 3rd and much more manageable 5.
Yeah, Birch has gotten better at this throughout the season as well, pulling that ball down, elusive, had the rushing touchdown last week.
So the Gators get this signal from the sideline as they have 2 receivers to the short side left and 1 to the wide side right. Now Birch motions left to right, setting up the screen. Reynolds bobbles, catches inside of the 25, and he will be hit and brought down at around the 20-yard line. Great focus on the ball there by the sophomore to pull that one in and pick up the Gators' first down.
Certainly one of the more artistic catches I think we've seen this season, as he really did juggle that a decent amount of times. Luckily, he had enough green around him that nobody really got to him, and he was able to still get forward. Conlon Greene was in the vicinity, but not a whole lot of speed there.
So the Gators 1st and 10 from inside of the red zone. An incomplete pass intended to Harper brings up 2nd down and 10.
I'll tell you what, Adam, you're on the road here. It's a big section matchup. Getting the points on the board first would be huge for the Gators.
Birch hands off, Reynolds up the gut. He'll pick up 1 to the 18 before being driven back. At the bottom of the pile is Lorenzo Minalto, the 5'10", 255-pound lineman.
Jack Jolly doing a good job coming up from the linebacker position and plugging that gap before Reynolds could get to the 2nd level of the defense. That prevented that from being a much more productive run. And now, first sort of 3rd and long situation we've seen, and not a lot of room to throw the ball once you start getting close to the end zone here. Birch has to be careful.
Yeah, 3rd down and 9, and Gateway is going to call a timeout. So obviously a big decision here, and Don Hall and offensive coach Donnie Hall, they want to talk things over with this Gators offense because, like you said, Vince, 3rd and 9, ball inside of the red zone, an opportunity to score first. And when you have an opportunity to score first in a game like this, you want to take advantage. Beautiful night here in southwestern Pennsylvania. We're out in Westmoreland County. Been an occasional drizzle, but it's dried out leading up to kickoff. Temperature in the low 70s. Humidity starting to dip a bit. Light winds. Sun set well before this 7:30 kickoff here in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania. Good to have you along with us on YouTube, Facebook, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
I will sign up for 72 degrees on October 8th in Western Pennsylvania anytime. Gorgeous evening for football. You got to be careful here as well because you are in field goal range. You are well within where Plaskin can nail one. He was good from 39 last week, a season long against Latrobe. So Birch has done a better job as the season goes on. Didn't force any throws last week, played a clean game, but he does have 8 interceptions on the season. That would be my biggest concern in airing this one out on 3rd and long.
So as soon as we are back to live action, it will be Birch in the shotgun with Reynolds set to his right-hand side, 2 receivers right and 1 to the near side left. With tonight's game being on multiple media outlets, We are going to have some extended delays as we are headed back to live action as our Red Hat steps off of the field. And again, it's 3rd and 9. Birch play action. Steps up into the pocket, but he's going to be wrapped. No, he's still on his feet. Running right. And he will be brought down in the middle of the field. No gain on the play, but moving the ball from the left hash to the middle of the field with no gain on the play ends up helping the Gators' cause with the field goal unit coming to the field.
Oh, and you don't lose yourself 10 yards, right? You make that attempt much more easy for Plaskin. So now this is going to be about a 35-yarder. And once again, that's well within the range of your field goal kicker. Well, you're at 45 yards, not so much.
Good hold, kick up, and that field goal is good. And Cole Plaskin with the 35-yard field goal, and the Gators strike first, 3-0.
Plaskin nailed that one. My goodness, that was tried and true. That went above the uprights. That's a heck of a kick. He's someone that could be a difference maker come November for this team.
And you've got to love when all 3 phases of the field goal work. The snap, the kick, and the hold. Of course, the long snapper, Carson Engelke, the safety for Gateway, as well as their backup quarterback. But let's talk about that starting quarterback and his performance in that drive. Showed some wheels, number one, and number two, showed some elusiveness there, Vince, because that elusiveness led to Gateway being able to move the ball to the middle of the field, not lose any yardage, and end up with points on the board.
He has taken such a dramatic step forward from what we saw in the first several weeks of the season. As we know, he played in 1A last season at Jeanette. Now he's up at the 5A level playing against some really top-tier talent in the WPIAL, and he continues to impress week to week and how he's improving his game. And you see it right on the field. He's just making better decisions, and he looks a heck of a lot more comfortable out there.
Undoubtedly, and the learning curve really has started to level out, and it really starts to look like he understands how to play at the 5A level as a sophomore. Plaskin will kick off after that 35-yard field goal. And this end-over-end kick will carry to the near sideline where it'll be caught. And then Seth Dunlap steps out of bounds. I think had Dunlap let that one go out of bounds, it would have been Warriors ball at the 35. Instead, it'll be Warriors ball at the 5.
Oh, that's an incredible mental error there by Dunlap, and certainly a great replay there by our crew to show that he definitely stepped out. My goodness, things going bad to worse for the Warriors here. They got pushed backwards on their last drive and punted near their own end zone, and now they start this drive their own 5-yard line.
So it's Carter Greene in the shotgun all by himself. A wing to the left, 2 receivers to the near side right, 1 to the far side left. Greene's going to run left. Strung out, met in the backfield, and brought down for a loss of a couple. Gators were all over that one.
Yeah, and I think what they're really going to struggle with tonight, Penn-Trafford, is against a lot of other teams, they have the speed to get outside there on runs like that. This Gators defense, they've got speed at all 3 levels of this defense. I mean, you even look, you've got your defensive lineman there, Christopher Horton. He's running down the line, in lockstep with your quarterback there. You don't find many teams that have that speed all over their defense.
With Horton moving into the lineup a couple of weeks ago, he's really made his presence known. And for the guy his size, his feet are remarkable. Greene's going to run it again, running left, had a crease, now finds another crease, and he will be brought down close to the first down flag. Tackle made by Matthew Brooks.
Yeah, he got it on that extra little effort there. He fell down on top of the defender, as you'll see here in the replay. And that last little effort on a really great read there by Greene, able to juke one defender out of his shoes. You see falls on top there and flips over. He was able to shake away from Lewis Douglas. Douglas doesn't make too many mistakes there. He's pretty sure-handed with the tackles, but
Lewis Douglas really making his presence felt thus far tonight for the Gateway Gators. Penn-Trafford going to go to the ground. Running to the near side right is Yakimelli, and Yakimelli is wrapped up around the ankles before being shoved out of bounds. Initial contact by Kenny Lewis and then cleaned up by Elijah Heller.
Yeah, an excellent job again, not allowing too much room on the outside there. And excellent angles by Heller, by Harper. As you see here, busting it out wide. Good job there as well by Kenny Lewis, wrapping him up, allowing his teammates to come in and help. Carson Engelke getting in there as well.
It was a good job by Engelke filling the initial hole as Giacomelli was running right. That forced it further to the boundary and allowed the initial contact by Kenny Lewis. So a gain on that play of about 2 brings up 2nd down and 8. Giacomelli to the ground, met by Hunter Dow, and Dow will make the tackle. Giacomelli with an extra effort picks up about a yard, but that brings up 3rd down and about 7.
Gators are getting a really good push here. You see Dow in the backfield before Giacomelli even gets the ball. He's just waiting there for him. And credit to Giacomelli and credit to Greene. They're able to make some guys miss. They're elusive, but if they have to do that all night long, they're going to grow real tired. It's going to be real tough sledding for this offense.
So it's 3rd and 7 for the Warriors. The clock winding, under 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. The Warriors have the ball at around the 18. Greene pressured late. Finds an open receiver, Jacob Otto. Otto finding a gap in the zone. Comes down with it. Right at the 1st down flag, and that'll be enough for a Warriors 1st down as he found a soft spot in the midst of a gang of white jerseys.
He did, and he set himself up. I always appreciate that awareness by receivers to make sure that you're in a position that as soon as you catch the ball, you've got the 1st down. That's a heady play there by a junior receiver.
And number 2, Vince, he didn't voluntarily retreat trying to make something happen. He stayed where he was. He knew he had the 1st down. He let the Gators push him back. If you voluntarily retreat in that circumstance and you get tackled, you end up losing the 1st down.
Absolutely. And we see that so often, and you see it at every level of football. You think that that'd be a no-brainer. It's not always the case.
Well, we saw it in the Pittsburgh Steelers game this past Sunday. Greene's in the shotgun all by himself. He's going to tuck and run, finds a crease over left tackle, and he will be brought down by Brooks. And there was all kind of greenery in front of him if it weren't for Matthew Brooks.
Yeah, he did a good job hanging onto that jersey for dear life and then pulling the quarterback back towards him so he could get his arms around him and bring him down to the turf. They've found success on a few of these designed runs up the middle, and when you've got, so far when there's been an empty backfield, it's generally your signal that number 8's going to carry the ball. See if the Gators can adjust to that and be more prepared for it.
So 1st and 10 for Penn-Trafford with the ball at the 39. Pistol formation this time, and it's Giacomelli to the ground, and he finds maybe a yard before he's stacked up by Engelke. And that brings up 2nd down and 9. Look how Engelke is moving from his safety spot up towards basically another linebacker.
Yeah, he plays the safety position, but he tackles like a linebacker. He is not shy whatsoever about sticking his helmet into the action, and that's what I absolutely love about him on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it does look like basically 3 linebackers behind that defensive front. Now it's play action. Greene hit as he releases the football, and he throws it to a wide open receiver who was trailing behind some Gators, but Jacob Haynes couldn't get to the football, and the incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 9.
You know, honestly, that pressure by Douglas might have just altered that throw just enough, and that would have been a tough throw, adjusting across the body there. Greene able to get that one out just a little bit long. But Douglas able to create a little heat in the kitchen there, so to speak, and that might have just been the difference.
Vince, I don't remember a lot of Lewis Douglas earlier in the season. And obviously I didn't see last week's game in its entirety. So, he's obviously making himself known tonight in that linebacker spot. Rolling right, Greene has an open receiver on this near sideline as Jacob Otto on the comeback route really got separation from Kenny Lewis. And that's another Penn-Trafford 1st down. And this drive really taking up a lot of yardage and a lot of time for Penn-Trafford. Don't forget, this started at the 5.
Yeah, they're just getting into enemy territory now with the ball at the 48-yard line. It has been a long drive. But to your former point there, Adam, and actually I'll finish that here after the play.
2 wings, Greene basically with an empty set. He's going to run left. He's got nowhere to go. He fumbles the football. Still loose, and then it'll be covered up. It's Carson Engelke with the fumble recovery. Carson Engelke always got a nose for the football. One Gator went for the scoop and score. That didn't work out, but Engoke comes out of there with it instead, and it'll be Gators ball, 1st and 10 at the midfield stripe.
He really is excellent. You know, we saw him strip the ball against Penn Hills and create a turnover, as he does right there. We saw him scoop and score against Bethel Park. He has really been super special. I mean, last year we talked about him at quarterback all season, and that overshadowed anything else he did on the field. Now being able to solely focus on defense, I mean, he's kind of like Jaquan Reynolds on the offense. You don't really think about it, but he might just be the cog that makes everything run there. He has just been spectacular.
Forced the fumble as he was the second man there. Brooks initiated the contact. Then it was forced loose. Inez Jordan couldn't scoop it, and then there was Engelke stumbling after the football and covered it up. So now the Gators offense back on the field. Handoff. Reynolds running left. He's met after a couple of yards, driven to the turf. Big hit there by Jack Jolly. Brings up 2nd down and 8.
And so I wanted to talk back to your point, you know, Lewis Douglas on defense, but I think about guys like Reynolds on offense and the Birch brothers. There's a lot of young pieces for this Gators team. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing these young men get better and develop as the season goes on, playing against tough competition in 5A. I think that will continue over the last 3 weeks of the season.
Birch motions left to right. Now Brad Birch dropping back, setting up the screen, and it slides through the hands of Reynolds. He couldn't juggle that one in that time, as there were 2 green jerseys headed his way, and Daniel Tarabella also headed towards him was Conman Greene.
I'd like to see Birch try and connect on a slot fly route or a crossing route, sort of like a post. We've seen him have a lot of success connecting with Harper, with Malachi Moore, with Patrick Bodie throughout the season. We've yet to see him take a shot deep here. I wonder if that's going to be upcoming here on 3rd and 8, just inside of the 50-yard line.
Lewis Douglas, the tight end, to the left right now. Trips to the right of the formation. Pass to Brett Birch. He can't hold on to it. And the incomplete pass brings up 4th down and 8.
Tend to think you'll, well, traditionally you'd bring the punt unit out, but we've seen so many times this season where Birch will pooch punt. I think we might see that here, but he put it where it needed to be. That's just one your receiver's got to come down with. You get both hands on the ball, you got to catch it.
Yeah, Birch takes a step back, and this is going to be a pooch punt. He steps into this one, and it's a beauty as it will bounce towards the end zone. Unfortunately, it didn't have enough of a slow roll for the speedy Patrick Bodie to get there. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Penn-Trafford Warriors at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, he didn't really get a whole lot of lift on that one.
Taking a look at the Gateway schedule in the rearview mirror, victories against Delaware Valley, Penn Hills, Bethel Park, and Latrobe. Losses to defending state champions Thomas Jefferson and Pine Richland. And then, of course, tonight's game against Penn-Trafford before a pair of home games against Woodland Hills and Connellsville, before finishing up the road in Westmoreland County against the Franklin Regional Panthers.
You don't want to discount any team here at this high level of competition, but you really feel like this is the last really big test the Gators have before they get a couple tune-ups for postseason play. This really does feel like the game that's going to decide the Big East Conference.
Yeah, there was even an article about that in the Trib, kind of some de facto conference championship games going on, including this one tonight. On the end around, coming from left to right, was Seth Dunlap, and he didn't have much room to go as he is brought down by Aiden Smith and Hunter Dow. Gain of about 1 brings up 2nd down and 9.
We'll talk about someone we have talked about all season who's no surprise whatsoever. You talk about a guy like Aiden Smith, who has been consistent. He's been one of the leading tacklers on this team, and he's been such a sturdy presence there down the middle for this defense. They don't allow a whole lot of yards or a whole lot of points, and he's a big reason why.
2 receivers left and a wing to the left, 1 receiver to the short side right. Greene by himself. He's going to run. He finds a crease. He's hit and brought down to the turf by Dow. A big hit there by Hunter Dow. And that'll be the final play of quarter number 1. So a very low-scoring first quarter as we head to the second frame. Gateway leading Penn-Trafford 3-zip.
Excellent start for the Gators. They get the field goal, they get the turnover. certainly feel like momentum is on their side, but got to get off the field here on third down. You got the turnover the last time, but one thing that scared me a little bit about this Gators defense, giving up a couple third down and long conversions over the air. So Kenny Lewis and company in the secondary, they got to tighten up a little bit. The guys in front are doing their job. This is a Penn-Trafford team where you'd expect them to beat you on the ground. You don't want to get beat by this team. It's something that's not particularly their strength, passing the ball. See if they're able to tighten this up. See if Patrick Bodie or Elijah Heller can come away with the ball and flip the field here.
You know, Vince, a lot of times, or a lot of our viewers rather, they know each week we produce the Gateway Game of the Week, and a lot of times it's soccer. Well, I had the opportunity yesterday to set up for our soccer matches that you called, and the Gateway football practice was going on as I was setting up. And the intensity of that practice was by far one of the most intense practices I've seen this Gateway team have heading into a game. I mean, a very different atmosphere for Gateway yesterday afternoon versus some of the other Wednesdays or Thursdays we've been able to see Gateway practice.
Well, there's a lot riding on this game, and we've already stated a lot of that. But I think, again, for the Gators, you were the team that had all the hype coming into the season. Tribb says you're the #1 team in 5A. You play a couple games against very, very talented teams in Thomas Jefferson and Pine Richland, but games that you could have won, games where you didn't generate enough offense. And so I'm sure there's a feeling of frustration. I mean, let's be frank, the Gators, when they go out against Bethel Park, Penn Hills, Connellsville, they are fully expecting to go out there and put on a show. But these are the games that really, really matter, and these are the games that are going to show whether or not you have what it takes to win a WPIAL championship. And I would have to believe this locker room believes that they can, and this is the game where they want to come out here and show the rest of 5A that this is why everyone was talking about us heading into this season.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Vince. Tonight's kind of that, reality check time. Are we the team that beats up on the lesser teams, or are we the team that can beat some of the other top-tier teams in 5A? Tonight will really show us one way or the other. Trips left, one receiver right. Third and about 5. Little trickery here for the Penn-Trafford Warriors, and running to the right side, Seth Dunlap picks up the first down. And there was a whole heck of a lot of greenery in front of him as he was brought down from the side and behind. And that's a first down for Penn-Trafford as Dunlap bobbled that initially, but was able to break free, and then Engelke makes the tackle.
Good play call there. Think that the Gators might have been thinking pass there with a 4-receiver set. So I like the play design, but you still got to stay home. He had 8 yards in front of you to bring Dunlap down, and inexcusable to let up another 3rd and long.
Pistol formation this time. Greene with the back behind him. Handoff. And that's Cade Yacomelli. And Yacomelli's going to pick up a handful. Tackle made by Lewis Douglas.
Shows you why Penn-Trafford's hard to beat. They possess the ball well. They consistently get 3 to 5 yards at the least on a lot of these carries, and so you just average that out. They're going to be able to move the sticks every time with relative ease. Gators got to get that push like they did in the first drive, get into the backfield. When they've been able to do that, we've seen them bring down ball carriers for a loss or strip the ball loose, generate turnovers.
Wings to either side, pistol formation again. Greene motions the wings to the left of the formation, so there's double wings there. Back to the ground, it's Yacomelli, big hole. Yacomelli straight down the gut. He will finally be hit by a trio of Gators at around the 10-yard line, and the Gators flip the field, and it will be 1st and goal for the Penn-Trafford Warriors at the 10.
That's the other thing that happens when you stick with the ground game like that. You continue to pound on a team. Eventually, you're going to bust one loose there. And Yacomelli showing he's got some wheels. The Wisconsin commit. Look at him turn on the Jets there, that 2nd level of speed. And Patrick Bodie, one of the fastest guys in the WPIAL, took him all the way down to the 10-yard line to catch him.
So it'll be 1st and goal for Penn-Trafford at that 10-yard line. Greene by himself in the shotgun. He's going to run to the left. Finds a gap. It closes quickly by Elijah Heller, but still a gain of 5 or 6, as it'll be 2nd and goal at the 6. So getting back to Cade Yacomelli, great hesitation there, and when the Gators over pursued, he made them pay. Nice job filling holes there, though, by the Gateway defense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Heller, talk about a guy that's developed so much in the span of 1 year.
Greene in the shotgun, wing right, receiver right, one receiver to the near side left. Greene running left. Hit in the backfield, but somehow stumbles his way to the goal line for a touchdown. And it is the Penn-Trafford Warriors scoring as they take the lead on the Gateway Gators 6-3 Vince Luso.
Yeah, Greene got a good push there, a good second effort. Was met inside the 5, just kept the wheels running, and a real gut punch there for the Gators. You see a missed tackle by Heller. He was excellent plugging the gap on the last one, but this time not enough. He's able to shake Heller off and get into the end zone for 6. Great
balance there by Carter Greene to somehow find his way into the end zone. The PAT is up and in. And 9:22 to play here in the second quarter. Penn-Trafford has grabbed a 4-point lead on the Gateway Gators.
You had to think that at some point this was going to happen. They were going to put together a drive. What I really want to see out of the Gators is how they respond. Traditionally in these games, these big stake games, it's been the offense that's gone AWOL, that's gone away from them. Can they go back down the field with this potent offense, put points on the board, and take the lead back against the Warriors? That's what I want to see.
Now you heard a bell ringing there. Now that's a bell that Penn-Trafford has been ringing for many, many years, and that is not the victory bell, the bell that these two teams are playing for tonight. The bell that these two teams are playing for tonight stems back to the rivalry between the Trafford Tomahawks and the Pitcairn Railroaders over 50 years ago, long before Penn-Trafford was a school district and long before Gateway was a school district.
Yeah, battle for the bell started in 1924. As you said, Trafford and Pitcairn ran until about the 50s. They lost the bell for a period of time. And so the rivalry, the tradition, were resurrected in 2008. Since then, it's been pretty even. Gateway has won 11 matchups out of 21, Penn-Trafford 10. So the Warriors trying to get even, the Gators trying to stay out in front.
How do you lose a bell that size?
Had to end up in someone's garage, shed.
Obviously, I think what happened was when Penn-Trafford became a school district or when Gateway became a school district, somehow it just became forgotten. And somebody found it and said, hey, these two teams play all the time now. Let's bring it back. Let's make it a thing again. And it has been a very cool thing for these two bordering school districts over the last 13 years.
It's been a real fun storyline this week with a game that already has more than enough ammunition to be the game of the week here in the WPIAL. But you add that rivalry trophy. You see a ton of those in college. You don't see necessarily as many of them in high school. So it's fun. It's a fun wrinkle to add into an already big-time matchup.
Schlesinger will kick off for Penn-Trafford as they lead the Woodland Hills, or rather the Gateway Gators 7-3. Talk about Woodland Hills, who's in action against Franklin Regional a bit later as we run through the scores. So that kick by Schlesinger into the end zone, and it'll be Gateway ball 1st and 10 at the 20.
Yeah, a couple good matchups around 5A. Had Moon taking on Peters tonight. It'll be another good test for the Moon Tigers, who I don't think anyone saw them sit in the top 5A at this point in the season. But yeah, you got Woodland Hills Franklin Regional, and you got Connellsville Latrobe. See if one of those two teams can get their first conference win in the Big East.
Gateway and Penn-Trafford already 1-0 in Big East Conference play. Gateway victorious last week over the Latrobe Wildcats. Is to the air goes Birch, and Birch finds Inez Jordan, and Jordan is brought down after a gain of 9. It's good to see Gateway moving the ball with a vertical passing attack there for the first time.
And a really nice pass and catch there in traffic. A good read, too. You see quarterback Birch looking off the receiver. Looked like they were going to swing it out into the backfield. Penn-Trafford has been really trying to stop that, creeping the defense forward, so a good adjustment there.
RPO here. Birch runs right, gonna tuck, picks up a block from Bodie, and he's hit out of bounds as a flag comes down. I think Bodie's gonna be whistled for a holding penalty. certainly looked clean from our vantage point, but we'll have to check our replay, and that's pretty unfortunate because that negates a Gators first down, and Birch paid the price on top of it.
And that's what I'm thinking. A second flag came in there at the end. I'm not so sure that we're not also going to get a late hit on the quarterback along the sidelines.
Yeah, but
see if we can see both.
Yeah, it didn't get hit in that particular circumstance. I certainly didn't see. I didn't see much there by Bodie in the hold. That's where the flag was thrown. See if we can get another look at this one on our replay. Bodie, number 4 on the right-hand side of your screen. I mean, he was just fighting with another Penn-Trafford player right in front of him, but instead they're going to march that 10 yards back to the 21-yard line. And that hold didn't happen at the 31. That hold happened closer to around the 35. So maybe that ball should be closer to the 25, even though the hold seems a bit egregious.
Well, it does look like that's where they've placed it for the time being.
The 21, not the 25. That's the issue that I have with it. Not to mention that I don't think it's really much of a penalty by Bodie. And like you said, I mean, Birch was headed to, and now they're going to move it back to the 26, which is a lot more reasonable from where Bodie was. But like you said, I mean, Bodie was one step from the sideline giving himself up, and he got tattooed. Or Birch, not Bodie, excuse me. To the ground, or no. Pulls it out of the belly, does Birch. Throws it to his brother Brett to the far sideline. And Brett Birch is going to be wrestled down shy of the first down marker. It'll be second down, or rather third down and 1.
So you keep yourself ahead of the sticks here. You give yourself a third and short. There's nothing going downfield, so you just go with the safety valve there, and Birch able to get a few yards after the catch. Gators trying to go quick here, but it looks like there's a procedural penalty. That's the last thing you want to see happen for the Gators, because now you turn that 3rd and 1 into a 3rd and 6.
That is never good.
Yeah, I can't believe that they missed that call. Birch getting lit up there. Not only was it a late hit, and Birch was giving himself up the sidelines, that was up close to the head. That was close to a headshot there. And you know, normally the refs here, credit to them, they're normally all over that kind of stuff.
Birch pressured, dumps it off, finds Brett Birch. He's trying to elude tacklers, and it will be a loss on that play of 4. That'll bring up 4th down and 10, and the punt unit will come on as starting to fall apart a little bit here for Gateway. Granted, there's only 7:40 to go in the second quarter, but you know, it feels like the tide has turned significantly.
The one thing that the Gators have not been able to do is clean up those procedural penalties and those discipline-related type things. It's a squad that has lacked that initiative so far this season. You got to be better than that when it comes to week 7. You got to be able to clean those things up.
High snap out of the back of the end zone for a safety. So Engelke with the high snap. And that brings the score to 9-3 with 7:13 to play. And, you know, Vince, there are a few things that switch momentum or gain momentum for a team than a safety on a special teams error.
Oh my goodness, I mean, not only do you get the 2 points right off the bat, but then you get the ball right back off of, you know, a much less advantageous kick for the team that's kicking the ball away. They're going to kick this off, I believe around the 20-yard line. And so you're going to set up shop with really good field position if you're Penn-Trafford. And so it's, we've seen this happen a few times this season where it's time for the Gators defense to kind of carry the slack a little bit. Once again, we see the offense just kind of sputtering in the mud, wheels in the mud here.
And it always seems to happen when Gateway gets behind the 8 ball. Let's take a look at the schedule for the Penn-Trafford Warriors. They started off the season at Norwin and at Hempfield before losing to Bell Vernon, who is an incredible team out of Quad A, and then the home loss to Peters Township before traveling to Shaler, getting the big victory, and then a 27-6 win last week at the Wolverina.
And again, I think that they'll have a relatively easy time with the remaining 3 games on their schedule. You never know. As we see a little rain start to fall here, that's going to be another thing that the Gators are going to have to work through. We've already seen a drop by the Gator receivers, and as that ball gets slick, it's going to be harder and harder for the passing game to be effective. And that's what, you know, really butters the bread for the Gators.
Kick by Plaskin. Bounces to the 30, slides through the hands of the return man Dunlap. Dunlap retreats and will be brought down shy of the 30-yard line. So a bit of luck there for the Gateway Gators. A slick ball sliding through the hands of Dunlap. He then retreats to compound the issue, and a nice job by the Gators coverage, that speedy coverage team, to make something happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he gets a decent return. He's up close to midfield, and all of a sudden this offense comes out saying we've only got to go half the field to get ourselves a score. Now they got to go 70 yards. That extra 20 yards makes that end zone look a lot smaller down the length of the field. See if the Gators can rise to the challenge here, get a big stop. They're going to need it.
Shotgun, 2 receivers left, 1 to the far side right. Now motion man from left to right is Coxton. To the ground go the Warriors, and it's Cade Yakimelli who will carry it out to the 40-yard line before being brought down by Carson Engelke. And a gain of 10 and another first down, and the sticks move again for Penn-Trafford.
Warriors are really putting it together down in the trenches, getting a good push there, plugging up all the lanes, and Yakimelli, no hesitation whatsoever. I appreciate that he hits the hole hard. He's a north to south runner, and in this offense, that's going to get you a good bit of yards.
Greene's going to run to the left. He will be met in the backfield and brought down. A little pushing after the play by Bodie, but cooler heads prevail as the Matthew Brooks leads the tackling charge for the Gateway Gators.
He's a little slow to get up.
Brooks was a little slow, as was Demetrius Harper. Harper favoring that left shoulder. They are going to bring on a substitute on the defensive front for Brooks in the senior Asante Martin. Though it looks like Demetrius Harper is going to stay in the lineup.
We've seen Harper sustain a few nicks along the way. I mean, he's always getting himself into the fold. I mean, this defense, they gang tackle well, they flock to the ball, and all 11 really like to initiate contact, and we're going to take some stingers and some hits along the way. 2nd
and 11 from the 39 for the Warriors, 2 receivers left. Greene off of play action, looking down the left sideline the whole way. His intended receiver is Tommy Coxstein, incomplete. Coverage on the play by Elijah Heller, and that incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 11.
Second time we've seen Greene sort of airmail it, send it over top of his receiver. But good coverage there by Heller. Right there in tow. No separation whatsoever for Kalkstein.
Clock stop, 5:47 to go here, 2nd quarter, 9-3. Penn-Trafford on top of Gateway. 3rd downs have been a bugaboo for this Gateway defense. Let's see what they can do here on this 3rd down on an empty set. Greene, straight drop back, steps up into the pocket. He's wrapped and brought down. Hunter Dow making the stop for the Gateway Gators.
That's huge. That's huge. That really stops that momentum that Penn-Trafford had really been building up. Now it gives you an opportunity to get the ball back, try to get a good return here with Birch. But finally, a nice 3rd down and long stop for the Gators. See what they can do.
Josh Huffman is the punter. Low snap, he gathers it in and gets it away. Spiraling punt, Birch retreating, and it will take a bounce to the sideline. And the Gators backed up to the 18-yard line where it'll be 1st down and 10 for Gateway.
Look for Birch and company to take a shot downfield. See if you can't get Bodie past the secondary, find him over top. We have not seen the deep ball yet. I wonder if now with a little bit of a momentum swing, a nice stop defensively, if Don Hall will try and send the guys deep and see if they can't make an instant connection, take this lead back, or at least tie it with 6.
.5:04 to play. 2nd quarter, Gators 1st and 10 at the 18. So the Gators defense stems the tide. Can the offense do the same? RPO, pass to the near side for Bodie. It's a nice job by Birch to pull the ball out of the belly of the tailback and look to the near side right, and a pickup of 9 brings up 2nd down and 1.
Well, they didn't go necessarily over the top, but well-designed route there, good timing route, good pass there, nice completion.
And again, Brad Birch pulls it out of the belly of the tailback, Jaquan Reynolds. And instead of 2nd down and 1 becoming 3rd down and 1 or a 1st down, it becomes 3rd down and 5, and the momentum swings to the green shirts.
And it seems pretty self-explanatory, but this is when the Gators offense has not been able to sustain drives whenever 2nd and 1s turn into 3rd and longs.
Whistles come from the far sideline, and I think Gateway is going to use a timeout here on 3rd down and 5. Their second of the second half with 4:11 to play here. Gateway, after facing a 2nd down and 1, now facing a 3rd down and 5. Let's take a look at the Trib Live High School Sports Network 5A rankings. We talked about Moon already. The Moon Tigers 6-0, undefeated atop 5A. Pine Richland has moved up to number 2 with a record of 3-3, but a victory over Gateway involved there, who sits at number 3. South Fayette is number 4, a team on the rise. And the Penn-Trafford Warriors, they finish out the top 5 in the Trib Live High School Sports Network rankings.
Yeah, who would have thought that 5A goes through Moon Township, Pennsylvania? I think 5A is wide open, honestly. We'll see if Pine Richland fully returns to form. They're certainly starting to put it together under a first-year head coach, but I really do think that on any given Friday night, you could see, teams maybe 1 through 8 pull an upset. We've got some teams outside of that top 5 that still have some real talent. Talk about West Allegheny. I know Kiski hasn't played the strongest schedule, but they sit at 5-1 after a narrow loss at North Hills. So I think the playoffs are going to be wildly entertaining this year as they go back to 12 teams.
The scoreboard says 3rd and 1, but it's more like 3rd down and 5 as Birch goes to the air. He will find Bodie. It's a Gateway 1st down. Bodie still on his feet to the far sideline, wrestling his way to the far boundary and finally forced out of bounds as he crosses the 40. As he was a man possessed there, picking up the Gators 1st down.
I just love the physicality that Bodie plays with. It's drawn him a couple holding penalties, and I think some of that is the officials see the violence that he throws guys down and they throw that flag. But, he takes personal offense to everything on offense and defense, and he plays so nasty, and it really fuels him here. You look at him, he's just shaking guys off, stiff-arming left and right. We've seen as the season goes on, he's been harder and harder to bring down to the turf.
Motion man Brad Birch, off of play action, going to heave-ho it down the field for Bodie. Bodie reaches up and grabs the football. He was bumped twice, but still comes down with it inside of the 10 at the 9.
What an unbelievable reception to go way up top, to go and get that ball in traffic with the defender on his back. He shows why he is just such a talent. He just flipped the field completely for the Gators there. That is a huge momentum swing.
2 plays by Bodie make it happen for the Gators as it's 1st and goal. No, there's going to be 1st and 10 at the 11 as Brad Birch is the ball carrier inside of the 10 to around the 8-yard line. It certainly looked like that ball initially was spotted at the 9, and then they spotted it at the 11. So instead of 1st and goal, it was 1st and 10. Now it's 2nd down and 7 after that gain of 3 to the 8.
I think you go right back to Bodie here. I think a jet sweep or a quick screen.
Well, he had to check out of the game. He was winded. He was patting his helmet asking for substitution. Play action. Birch looks left, throws left. It's a Gateway touchdown. Hesitation by the official over there, but it is Dallas Harper, the big play guy. He touches the ball, it's almost guaranteed to be a score.
1 out of every 2, right? Came into the game. 1 out of every 2 times he touches the ball. I think he's touched the ball twice tonight, and there's the touchdown. That's number 6 on the year. He's touched the ball less than 15 times. He has 6 touchdowns, as many as Bodie, who has far more receptions and carries.
Great job on the replay by our guys upstairs. A good pass by Birch, a great catch by Harper. He kept his feet in, and it's a Gateway TD. And with the PAT, Gateway has reclaimed the lead, and hopefully they're able to reclaim and hold on to momentum. 3:08 to play here in the second quarter. Gateway 10, Penn-Trafford 9.
And that's the drive I think we needed to see from this offense. I think that's going to give them so much momentum moving forward in this game. In the previous couple games, they haven't been able to punctuate these drives. They've stalled, they've thrown interceptions, they've gone 3 and out. There, some excellent plays up and down the field. You get the ball deep, which is the strength of your offensive attack. And then Dallas Harper, again, the concentration and the awareness to be able to get that foot down. Such an excellent grab there. He's been such an unsung hero for this offense. And the Gators back in front. Now you put your strength and your defense back out on the field, see if they can get another stop here and get the ball back for the end of the half.
And Vince, what I think was so important on that drive is how Patrick Bodie was able to catch that ball at the first down flag, make a big play, and then on the ensuing play, make another big play to get Gateway all the way down inside of the red zone to the 11, where a couple plays later it was the Dallas Harper team.
I think they got to find more ways to get the ball in his hands as this night goes on.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that. The future Cincinnati Bearcat is certainly a big contributor for Gateway. Big return opportunity here for Penn-Trafford, as it was Carter Greene, the QB, on the return. Finally brought down, crossing the 30 out towards the 33-yard line.
Got spun around like a top there. Not sure who laid the boom on him there, but he had a full head of steam and took a hip check there and just goes flying. That's Heller. Who else but Elijah Heller? I tell you, this young man at 5'7", 150 pounds, he'll stick his helmet anywhere. He's amazing to watch, I tell you.
As I was entering the stadium last week, his mom was leaving. I asked him, your son make any crazy hits today? She said no, he kept himself under control today. Trips left, one receiver to the far side right. Greene by himself. He's going to run to the right-hand side. Has a crease, and he is grabbed up near the shoulder pads and brought down after a gain of a handful. This will be second down at about 5.
Aiden Smith, the sure tackler there. A few more yards than you'd like to give up on first down. It's something Penn-Trafford does so well as they stay ahead of the chains. They give themselves those second and third and manageable. They stay on schedule, as coaches like to say, because they're just so consistent. They're disciplined, and they run the ball incredibly efficiently, incredibly well.
2 wings right, 1 receiver to the short side right, 1 to the near side, wide side left. To the ground, it is Iacomelli, and Iacomelli is brought down after picking up the first down. Tackle on the play by Lewis Douglas.
Still a decent amount of time left, but you'll see what, them really relying on the ground game to move this along. About 2 minutes left. They don't necessarily have the luxury of being able to settle for 4 and 5 yard gains. Certainly that one going a little bit longer, but they do have timeouts to work with, all 3 to be specific, so that's certainly a huge asset. Good management by the coaching staff for the Warriors.
2 wings to the short side right, pistol formation. It's Iacomelli on the ground, and he'll be wrapped and brought down by Aiden Smith. Also involved on the tackle, Demetrius Harper. No check that. That's Elijah Heller in on the stop. And a gain of about 6 on that play brings up second down and 4. Will be a gain of 5 and second and 5. Regardless, nice little second effort there, leading to a couple more yards for the tailback.
Yeah, but that clock continues to run. We're down to 1:27 here. I'm surprised they didn't use a timeout there.
As am I. 2 receivers left, 1 to the far side right. Greene in the shotgun. Greene going to run left. Had a crease for a moment, but it closed quickly, and he will not pick up the first down.
There wasn't a ton of urgency there getting up and snapping the ball and having the play ready. I'm a little surprised that they let a whole minute go off of the clock here during the 2-minute drill and only have about 10 yards to show for it.
So Penn-Trafford taking the timeout here. They'll have it 3rd and short. The Gateway was all over that one. The ball came out late as Aiden Smith pulled it out of the belly of the QB, Carter Greene, but the officials will say that Carter Greene was down. So 1:10 to play here in the second quarter. Gateway on top of Penn-Trafford 10-9. Taking a look at the Big East Conference. Gateway and Penn-Trafford 1-0, as is Franklin Regional. And the losers last week, Latrobe, Woodland Hills, and Connellsville. Losers to the top 3. Latrobe losing to Gateway. Woodland Hills losing to Penn-Trafford, and Franklin Regional beating the Connellsville Falcons a week ago.
We got some updates. Latrobe all over Connellsville, 28-0. Eric Schooley giving us the updates from up top. Woodland Hills up 24-14, showing a proclivity to score some points for the first time this season. That's a team that's had a sturdy defense. At one point, they were allowing like 9.8 points per game, but they were only scoring like 9.5.
Yeah, that's the first time Woodland Hills has scored over 20 points since week number 1 against that team from New Jersey, as Greene finds the crease over left end and picks up the first down before being brought down by Brooks, and a timeout called by Penn-Trafford, I believe.
Now keep in mind, the Warriors do have a dependable option in the kicking game. Nathan Schlesinger has made 3 field goals on the year, 23 extra points coming in here at least. So that is an option for them.
Wow. Don Hall certainly has a bit of a gripe here. A timeout was not called by Penn-Trafford. Instead, it was an injury timeout because Carson Engelke took a little bit longer to get up. So until he ran off the field and another guy came on, the clock didn't start running again. Now it runs with just under a minute to go. Broken play, Greene running left. He's got nowhere to go and the ball's loose, and the Gateway Gators covered up. Fumble recovery by Gateway's Jermier Harbor. And a methodical drive by Penn-Trafford, trying to eat up some clock, trying to make something happen very, very late. Instead, a fumble, and the Gators take it away for the second time.
Well, that home cooking with all the clock operation only works if you hang on to the ball, Adam. And so now the Gators have an opportunity. I'm going deep again. I'm taking a shot to Bodie here. Worked the last time. He's been shown that he's been able to gain separation, go up and get it. You got 46 seconds left and only 1 timeout, so you're going to have to move the ball here relatively quickly if you're going to get a score on the board.
So I watched Bodie run from the sideline all the way to the near sideline, so he split wide right, 2 receivers to the left. Play action, Birch hit as he releases the football, finds his brother Brett. Brett Birch surges his way forward out across the 40 towards the 45. The ball came loose. Let's see what the officials say here. They'll just say Birch was down, no turnover. Now they're going to say that Penn-Trafford gets the football. So Birch does fumble there, and Penn-Trafford gets it right back.
Yeah, you can't have that right after getting the ball back. You give it up. You see the ball is clearly out and recovered. Yeah, pretty cut and dry. Good call there by the officials. And now 37 seconds left. Still 2 timeouts, thanks to Engelke not being able to get up super quick. And that was the call, as unfortunate as it is. And so Penn-Trafford with a golden opportunity here.
Trips left to receivers right. And Carter Greene's going to tuck and run. He's got nowhere to go as Engelke makes the tackle. Also in on the stop is Jermier Harbor. And the clock will continue to wind here. Penn-Trafford not using their 2 timeouts, down by 1 with the ball inside of Gators territory. And finally, John Ruane asks for a timeout, and he points the clock and kind of asks his quarterback, what are you thinking about here?
Yeah, that's just poor situational awareness for a team that's regularly very, very disciplined and known for playing as such, but that is a mental lapse that might come back to cost them, 3 or 6 points here. And in a game like this, clearly a 1-point game, you just can't have that. As now you got 16 seconds left ball on the 41-yard line. You got both of your timeouts, but even still, with the amount of time it takes to run a play, you only got 3 or 4 plays left at most.
So John Ruane talking to his team on the far sideline. Don Hall, as well as the Gateway defensive coaches. Looks like they're asking for some more time to be put up on the clock, maybe to 19 seconds, and that's what will happen. However, it looks like it's, at least at first, 0.19 seconds. And I think that's what it is right now, or it's either 0.19 or 1.9 seconds, but either way, it's not 19 seconds. And the clock stops again here. You can actually, if you're watching real close on the bottom line of our screen, you can see that our software doesn't recognize the time that's on the board because it's not 19 seconds. Still, it says 18, but I don't believe it's 18 seconds.
I'm about to find out.
Well, we're going to learn. Carter Greene in the shotgun. All day. Throws left. The pass complete. And the tackle finally made as Jacob Otto is brought down. 10 seconds to go here.
Otto's been the man tonight in the passing game. He's done an excellent job creating separation, and already 3 big receptions, going for first downs here. And now this puts them in field goal range, as I think they might go ahead and trot that unit out now. Nathan Schlesinger, the 6-foot senior.
That's exactly what John Ruwane's plan was. You know, I don't know that I necessarily love that strategy by the Penn-Trafford Warriors. You've got timeouts in your pocket. You've got an opportunity to put 6-7 points on the board. Instead, you're going to settle for an opportunity to field goal, and this is going to be a 42-yard field goal opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, with 10 seconds left, I'm thinking I might take one shot to the end zone. I mean, certainly you risk a ball-hawking secondary with Heller, with Lewis, with Bodie, potentially intercepting the ball, turning it over. But, yeah, you are far from a guarantee when it comes to the field goal unit. A 42-yarder, I don't care if it's high school, college, or the pros, that's a difficult kick to make.
Especially when it's compounded by the snap, hold, and kick. Regardless of how good your kicker is, you've got to have all 3 components come through, and it's much more difficult at the high school level.
Absolutely. They're lining it up. We'll see if they're able to knock it through. This would take them into the half with the lead, but the Gators, they've blocked a few kicks this year. It wouldn't be surprising to see someone break through and take this back the other way.
So with 2 seconds on the clock, this will be a 42-yard field goal opportunity for Nathan Schlesinger. And a timeout called by Don Hall. He had it in his pocket, can't take it with you out of the locker room, so you might as well use it and let Schlesinger think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here watching. It's homecoming night. A lot of pressure. No. Schlesinger has been excellent so far this season. Like I said, 3 field goals on the campaign, 23 extra points. A little slip and fall there, though. We'll see if Don Hall's able to ice him or if he can convert. This game's lived up to the billing thus far. Physical, a couple big plays on each side. Both teams sort of relying on the strengths that have gotten them here. For Gateway, passing game. For Penn-Trafford, it's been ground and pound the whole way through. Yacomelli certainly looking every part. It's the 2 D1 commits, Adam, that have been the difference makers thus far.
So this will be a 42-yard field goal attempt again for Schlesinger. No timeouts this time for either team. Snap a little off the mark, but Schlesinger able to get into this one, and that field goal is up, and that field goal is good. And Penn-Trafford will take a 1-point lead, or rather a 2-point lead into the locker room, 12-10. They finally put that 12th point up on the board. So it's Penn-Trafford 12 and Gateway 10. But I don't know that, other than the fans getting a little excited with the lead headed into the locker room, do you really feel great about taking a 2-point lead into the locker room after all the opportunities you had if you're Penn-Trafford?
Certainly, I think what we saw from the Gators offense there on that last drive when they were able to punctuate it with the touchdown to Harper, I'm feeling really good about that unit. I think that's going to build. That's going to be something they can take with them. Sure, you let up to 3 points there. That's unfortunate. But you really played well in that second quarter from an offensive perspective, and that's what they've needed and will continue to need if they're going to beat some of these top teams in 5A.
Vince, one thing I think the Gators need to work on coming out of the locker room in the second half, establishing a bit more of a running game.
They do. Reynolds has been a really big asset for this team. In the games that they've won, he's put up big numbers, and it's opened him up in the passing game as well, and it helps them sell the play action. They're running play action right now, but everyone knows they're throwing the ball because they haven't consistently gone to the run. They haven't tried to establish the run. So you need that balanced offense. We've seen the Gators, when they're at their best, being able to do both things and really keeping defenses at bay.
I think one other thing Gateway needs to do coming out of the locker room, put the ball back in the hands of Brett Birch. Let him regain some confidence after that fumble that ultimately cost Gateway a field goal and a lead heading into the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you want to show that you have confidence in your guys, pick them up when they're down. And, you know, Birch has made some plays. He had that long touchdown last week. He's been a sturdy option. Certainly there's chemistry between the two brothers. So hopefully he's able to shake that off. And you're only down 2. You've also got a great kicker, so you're right within range. Hopefully the Gators can get back on track here in the second.
Enjoy the Gateway Marching Band and the Trib Live High School Sports Network halftime show. And Vince and I will be back with the second half with the score. Penn-Trafford 12 and Gateway 10. You're tuned in to Gateway Football on YouTube, Facebook, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Dave Burrow. With program direction by Paul Greene and Bill Crossley. Gateway's competitive season will continue tomorrow as the band will take part in the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Marching Band Association competition at Greene Area High School. Mr. Hulching and the Gateway Band would like to extend their well wishes to Mr. Cornelius and the Penn-Trafford Marching Band. Thank you for your kind support.
Set to begin the second half here at Warrior Stadium on the campus of Penn-Trafford High School. Adam Guskey, Vince Russo on the call for you on YouTube, Facebook, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. 12-10, Penn-Trafford leading Gateway. 50th anniversary of Penn-Trafford High School. Their homecoming tonight, a big game, and so far it's lived up to its billing, Vince, with the tight game that we have seen through the first 24 minutes of action.
Yeah, an excellent first half of football, no matter who you're rooting for. This game going to come down to the wire, it feels like. Both offenses starting to gain a little traction at the second of the half. I'm really anxious to see if this turns into a shootout. I think if it does, that bodes well for the Gators. The rain is by and large held off. The passing attack has an opportunity to thrive, and on that last drive, the Gators were able to send it down the field quickly on the way to 6 points.
That they were, but on their last opportunity with the football in their hands, they ended up fumbling the football away on that fumble by Brett Birch. And like we said before we went into half, got to get an opportunity for Birch to regain some confidence here in the second half.
Yeah, his brother behind center has made the adjustment to 5A really, really well. I think Brett still has some growing to do at the receiver position, but that doesn't mean it's not coming right around the corner. He's made some big plays in recent weeks, and I look for him to do the same in the second half. Second half underway, end-over-end kick will carry into the end zone for a touchback. Nathan Schlesinger with that kickoff to begin the second half, and the last time his foot touched the football, it gave Penn-Trafford the lead on a 42-yard field goal. Yeah, we saw Plaxton nail from 35 yards, and then Schlesinger said, I can do one better, nails it from 42. Both of those kicks tried and true, no doubt about it. This feels like a big drive for the Gators here. You make a couple blunders, you give up the lead going into the half, but you had all the momentum. I'm really anxious to see if they'll be able to come back out here, continue to execute. And as you said, Adam, maybe we even see the establishment of the running game. They went to Reynolds in the first drive and had some luck, but then abandoned it really quickly.
Play action, now a pass to Birch to the far sideline, and seems like they heard what we had to say, Vince, as the Gators go Birch to Birch on the first play of the second half, and it leads to positive yardage, and it regains some of that confidence for number 7. And I like that Brett didn't shy away from the contact there after that led to the fumble the last time. He put his head down, he got a few yards after the catch. That's a well-designed play, and that's heady coaching to get your guy his confidence back, get the ball in his hands early, allow him to make a play, get that first pop, hang on to the ball. Let's see what they draw up here. Power pistol, handoff. No, check that. They're going to run the option to the right-hand side. Brad Birch shimmying through traffic before being hit hard from behind by Conlon Greene. But that's close to first down yardage, bringing up third down and a very manageable one here. Now they got to avoid the procedural penalties. That's what killed them in the first half when they got into these third and short situations. And again, it's going to be a false start or some sort of procedural penalty against Gateway. On a 3rd and 1, it turns into a 3rd and 6. I don't even see it happen, so I don't know what's going on. When the defensive line shifted over, I saw a little bit of movement. I saw a head bob there on the offensive line, and you just can't have that happen. That's the second time tonight you turn a 3rd and 1 into a 3rd and 6, and that limits what you do from a play calling standpoint. You're almost certainly going to have to drop back and go to the air here. And the pass rush for the Warriors has been pretty good tonight. Birch has not had a lot of time to throw in the pocket. So now it's 3rd and 6 from the 24, the line to gain the 30. And Don Hall's going to take a timeout. And in a game like this, an early timeout is not a good thing to use. And I really do think the discipline component and some of these mistakes, if you're a coach or a mentor, anybody,
it's okay if the people that you're working with make mistakes. What's frustrating is when they're making the same mistakes this deep into the season. And that's the one thing that I think ultimately has the chance to cost Gateway from really being a contender in 5A. It's too late in the season to be having these procedural penalties on 3rd and 1. It's time to line up, get in sync, and get the ball moving down the field.
One thing you may have noticed there, Don Hall and Donnie Hall giving the referee a bit of an earful, and I think their contention is our linemen are set, and then that shift happens, and at that point, that's almost an intent to draw the offensive line off, and you see that at the pro and college level when a linebacker or a lineman moves in an attempt to draw the other side of the ball off, and it ends up costing the defense 5 yards. But regardless, it's 3rd and 6 here. Let's see what the Gators are able to do with it, with trips to the left and 2 receivers to the near side right. Empty set for Birch. Birch gonna run right, back left, and he'll be brought down in the backfield. A flag comes down, and it'll be a hold against the Gators, but it won't matter because the punt unit's gonna have to come on.
The penalty absolutely gutted that drive.
So Penn-Trafford obviously will decline the penalty.
See if we can see who the guilty culprit was on the hold.
If they called that on Hunter Dow, that was a negligible hold, and if they called it on Jacob Santo, that was even worse. As a former offensive lineman, I thought both were well within the realm of legality. Oh, the ball caroms off of the chest of the return man on the fair catch at the midfield stripe, and he ends up falling on it at the 47-yard line, so it'll be Warriors football in Gators territory after a fairly short punt by Plaskin.
That's the second time tonight that Seth Dunlap very nearly costed his team. They'll still have excellent field position, but Dunlap's probably going to get an earful on the sidelines as he bobbles yet another potential return.
Two receivers left, one to the far side right. To the ground go the Warriors, and it's Yakimelli, and he's got nowhere to go. Maybe he'll get 2. In on the tackle, Lewis Douglas. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 8 for the Warriors from the 45. This is the way we saw the Gators close up holes through the first quarter. In the second quarter, Penn-Trafford was able to move the ball on the ground with a little bit of hesitation and some cutbacks, some more patience, hitting late holes. So here it's 2nd and 8. Looked like the tight end moved early there for the Penn-Trafford Warriors. It was Jake Jolly with a false start, and that's going to cost the Warriors 5 yards and a rare penalty against the home team thus far tonight.
Yeah, and give credit where credit's due. The Warriors have been an incredibly disciplined team, but I think we would be kidding ourselves if there might be a little bit of discrepancy. We've seen a couple calls that the hold call on Bodie on the outside didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, among others.
Thanks for throwing that in at the end. Trips right, one receiver to the near side left, pistol formation. With the back, Yakimelli behind Greene. Straight drop back for Greene, setting up the screen for Yakimelli. Somehow he was able to thread that through traffic, but nowhere for Yakimelli to go. He'll pick up a couple before the tackle made by Brooks and another Gateway Gator.
Good job staying at home. Good awareness, sniffing that out quickly. Aiden Smith, Matthew Brooks. That middle of the defense, we talked about it for the upteenth time. That's the strength. You got a lot of guys that don't get fooled very easily. We haven't seen a whole lot of screen passes. We saw Pine Richland hit a deep one at one point early in the season, but other than that, the screen game has not really been one that's gone very well when they've tried it against the Gators for opponents.
8:22 as the clock winds here in quarter number 3. Pressure on Greene, and a flag will come in from a mile away as Greene throws the football towards Otto. Looks like it's going to maybe go against Penn-Trafford. I'm not sure. It came from the back judge. Let's see what the story is here. Let's see if these officials can sort this out a bit. So it's going to be a hold against Gateway. The official initially pointed towards Penn-Trafford, but instead it'll be a hold against the Gators, and it'll be a penalty from the line of scrimmage. It'll make it a third and much more manageable. As that hold was pretty inconsequential and not remotely close to the play.
Yeah, no kidding. Now it's going to be about 3rd and 1.
Instead of 4th and 11.
These are the things that the Gators can't have happen and expect to have opportunities to beat incredibly talented teams, whether it be Thomas Jefferson, Pine Richland, or here tonight, Penn-Trafford.
So 3rd and 1 for the Penn-Trafford Warriors. A wing and 2 receivers split right. 1 receiver to the short side left is Giacomelli. Greene in the shotgun, going to run left. Nowhere to go as he's met by Brooks. He'll be pulled backwards, in fact. And that will be 4th down and 1. No gain on that play.
Now you wonder, is this 4-down territory? Looks like they're going to keep the offense out there on the field. As you look, an excellent job getting through there. Once again, Matthew Brooks doing an excellent job.
Vince, I don't know. That ball never crossed the 39, and it's placed at the 38. So somehow now the Warriors have 4th and 1 instead of what should have been 4th and 2. We'll see if it matters at all on this play as Greene's going to hand off to Giacomelli, who surges his way to the 35. It's ultimately a gain of 3. It wouldn't have mattered whether it was 4th and 2 or 4th and 1 with a gain of 3 on that play, and it's 1st and 10 for Penn-Trafford at the Gateway 35.
Those are backbreaking. You do so much to put yourself in a position to get off the field, and then that last gasp by the offense, able to nullify all that work you did, and it resets. You see that 1 on the sidelines, it's 1st down. You got to go right back to work.
Giacomelli running left, found a crease, closed quickly though. As Carson Engelke makes the tackle for the Gateway Gators. Clock winding under 7 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's clear that John Ruane and the Penn-Trafford Warriors' goal is to take air out of the football and time off the clock.
Yeah, this is not the kind of team you want to fall behind in a game, because they will ground, they will pound, they will take what you give them, then they'll bust that one open for 30, 40 yards, and before you know it, this game's out of reach. You don't have enough time to come back.
Yeah, like we saw from Giacomelli on the big run that ended up setting up points for Penn-Trafford. Now it's Greene running left. He's being held on the boundary. Why is there no flag thrown on that particular play?
Oh, Demetrius Harper was absolutely held. His shoulder was grabbed completely. We'll see it here at his defensive end position at the bottom of your screen. He's going to take the right angle here and try and get away from the tight end. Arms there on the outside, grabbing the shoulder of the jersey, doesn't let go. That's an egregious miss there. Jack Jolly really getting away with one there.
So now it's 3rd down and 2 for Penn-Trafford after the gain of 8 on that 2nd down play. Pistol formation with Giacomelli behind Greene. Giacomelli, the ball carrier, knifing through, making the play is Lewis Douglas, the linebacker for the Gateway Gators, with a big appearance there.
We talked about off the air at halftime. Douglas is someone we did not talk a whole lot about at the beginning of this season, but the last couple games, he's gotten an opportunity, and my goodness, has he made the most of it. You take another look here on the replay, comes up from the linebacker position, reads the play perfectly. Both he and Jameer Harbor, they go high and low and take care of the ball carrier. Giacomelli unable to get a full head of steam, and now you got to do it again. It's 4-down territory. See if they can get him off the field. 4th and 3
at the 28. The line to gain the 25. Giacomelli to an empty set. Forward pitch, nowhere to go. Again, the stop is made as Jack Jolly is brought down by Lewis Douglas. Lewis Douglas smelled that the whole way and makes the play.
That's a creative play call. We've seen more of that throughout the college and pro ranks, now trickling down to high school. But you look at that. Douglas was ready for that the whole way. He had hands on the receiver before the ball was even thrown. That's an excellent, excellent play, good awareness, and a turnover on downs.
That is indicative of a kid that, number one, paid attention in film study, and number two, practiced that throughout the week.
And now, this is an opportunity to really grab some momentum here if you're the Gators. You got to sustain a drive here and put some points on the board. Go back to what was working in that first half, and more importantly, take care of, mind your P's and Q's. No more procedural penalties, no more holding calls. Get that ball out quick, maybe take a deep shot here.
Birch gonna go for that deep shot. Looking for Bodie, near sideline, oh, he can't hold on to it. It was over the outside shoulder. Bodie had it in his cradle, but couldn't quite pull it in cleanly on the coverage part of Greene for Penn-Trafford.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one, but that's one you expect a guy like Bodie to come down with. As you take another look. Nice ball there by Birch. That's unfortunate. That one, maybe if it's a yard further, falls right into the breadbasket. That sort of hit him in the elbow there.
So we have not seen the Gators go back to the ground game since the first quarter. Motion man is Birch. Play action. Stepping up into the pocket is Birch. Still on his feet. And you're not going to freeze linebackers on play action, Vince, unless you run the football a bit.
Yeah, it's sort of nonsensical in a way. We talked about it going into the halftime show that's exactly right. If you're going to run play action, there's got to be the threat that you're actually going to hand the ball off. And other than the first couple drives where Reynolds had a nice 8-9 yard run and was able to move the sticks once or twice, they've completely abandoned it. Now, 3rd and long, I can't anticipate they're going to run it here.
Jacob Haynes on the stop on that last play for Penn-Trafford. Birch with time. Hesitates, then throws, sliding down Dallas Harper. And the punt unit on. 3 and out for the Gateway Gators.
And the last snap by Engelke was better, but it was still a little bit high, so that makes you nervous. And it just is so unfortunate. These big games, the Gators offense has been the one facet of their game that just has not rose to the occasion thus far. You take a look, that pass didn't even get all the way to the sticks. Your receiver was open, but one of the few bad balls we've seen from Birch here in the past several weeks.
Good snap this time by Engelke, and Plaskin will get it away. And it will be fair caught, sliding down, Cade Yacomelli. It will be 1st and 10 for Penn-Trafford, 9 yards shy of the midfield stripe.
Had to notice, they didn't allow Seth Dunlap back there to take that one. He's muffed a couple already this evening, and this game's too important.
Next week, Gateway returns home for the first of 2 straight home games. They'll take on the Woodland Hills Wolverines. 2 teams very close to each other, just a trip down Monroeville Boulevard between these 2 team stadiums as Gateway hosts Woodland Hills. Woodland Hills 1-5 on the year in a conference game tonight against Franklin Regional, who at last check had the lead, did the Wolverines over the Panthers.
They've got a good defense there, the Wolverines do, so that has the capacity to be a relatively low-scoring game. Not sure, what do we got here? Looks like a timeout.
Oh, Gateway using their 2nd timeout here in the 3rd quarter in a 2-point game. And that has got to be frustrating for the Gateway sideline to have used 2 timeouts here in the 3rd quarter in a game that, probably is going to come down to the last possession, at least the way it looks right now.
Yeah, you really hate to not have those in your back pocket. And we saw a similar situation against Thomas Jefferson where the Gators were up against the clock and could have used a little bit more in the tank, so to speak, from that game management standpoint. And again, what's going on down there? These guys got to be ready. They've got to be a little more polished at this point in the season. It's these self-inflicted injuries in these big games. The defense has risen to the occasion. You only give up 21 points against both Thomas Jefferson and Pine Richland, but the offense goes AWOL in the second half and you make just enough self-inflicted wounds, you can't capitalize. And a team like Penn-Trafford will do just that if they're given the opportunity.
So I understand they used that timeout because the receiver on the near sideline had nobody covering him. That certainly could have led to very bad things as the Warriors are going to go to the Wildcat here. Cade Yacomelli gets picked up by his number mate on the other side, Jameer Harbor, and carried backwards. And that brings up second down and about 7.
And we've seen this script before. We've seen the defense in big games get better and better as the night goes on. They shut out Pine Richland in the second half. That's a tough Rams offense to do that against, and you got a ton of Gators in there on the action. That's what you love to see if you're a defensive coordinator.
And what I love to see is the self-control not to slam them down to the turf to end up costing you 15 yards.
Absolutely.
Instead, it's just a 3-yard gain and 2nd and 7. 3:23 as the clock winds here in the third quarter. Back to the ground go the Warriors, and it's Iacomelli who surges forward and then is tossed down to the turf, this time by Aiden Smith, also involved in the stop. The big man in the center, Christopher Horton.
So you get a 3rd and medium opportunity once again, try to get offense back on for the Gators.
I misspoke, it was not Horton on the tackle. Instead it was Hunter Dow who got involved with Aiden Smith. So it's 3rd down here, and we'll call it 4. The line to gain is inside of Gators territory at the 49. Pistol formation. 2 receivers to the right now. Play action, Greene running left. He has some room. He's got the first down. Nice read on that play by Jameer Harbor. Unfortunately, he didn't have help from any teammates because Harbor had closed off the outside, but took a big block in the process, and Penn-Trafford ends up with the first down.
Yeah, he took the right angle, but as you said, they needed more bodies over there. A good play call by Penn-Trafford. We've not seen that naked boot so far tonight. But a good job by the Warriors to get blockers out in front and extend this drive. And I mean, they are just absolutely killing this clock right now.
Gateway has had the ball 6 plays offensively this half. Handoff, Iacomelli running left, has a crease, has the first down, hit hard by Harbor. And boy, I'll tell you what, Jameer Harbor right now playing at a different level on the defensive side of the football. And he knocks Iacomelli to the turf, and Iacomelli is not getting up quick.
Yeah, hopefully just got the air knocked out of him off of, as you said, a big pop from Jameer Harbor. But you've got a number of playmakers on this Gators defense, but what you're seeing now is when they're left out there for so long, as the time continues to wind, there's going to be fatigue, and it's easy to just let that one run slip past you. We saw that happen early in the season against Thomas Jefferson. All 21 points that they scored were all big plays. All big plays that stemmed from drives that had continued to go on for quite a while, as you see Jameer Harbor laying the boom there, and Iacomelli certainly very, very slow to get up.
And I like that Harbor had one word to say and steps away. You know, you don't stand over the player for too long. You may have one word to say after a big hit like that. That's okay, especially in today's day and age. Now John Ruane's going to use a timeout with 1:36 to go here in the third quarter. Ruane, the head coach of the Penn-Trafford Warriors. We talked about it earlier, a teacher at Gateway High School, one of several teachers at Gateway, both at the high school level as well as at Moss-Side Middle School.
I'm sure if he and his club are able to hang on to this one, the coffee will taste a little better on Monday morning, roaming the halls.
Well, they've kind of had bragging rights since late August of 2019 when Penn-Trafford beat Gateway 28-7 the last time these two teams played for the bell. Take a look at the Allegheny 6 conference. Luna up top, undefeated, 6-0, 1-0 in conference. Bethel Park 1-0 in conference as well, as are the Upper St. Clair Panthers. Down at the bottom, 0-1 in Peters Township, South Fayette, and West Allegheny. And other than Moon, really that is a wide open conference from 2 through 6.
And we'll see. The Tigers at last update were up by 1 on Peters Township. That's a team that has a pedigree. They've been to 2 straight WPIAL finals. They knocked the Gateway Gators out of the playoffs last season in the semifinals, coming all the way back to win 20-19. I think that is the deepest conference in 5A. That's going to be real interesting to see which 4 teams qualify for the playoffs.
1st and 10 for the Warriors. Handoff, ball carrier running right is Seth Dunlap, and Dunlap's able to surge his way forward inside of the 30 to around the 28-yard line. Down at the bottom of the pile, Carson Engelke for Gateway. Some good news for Penn-Trafford fans as Cade Iacomelli's back into the game.
Yeah, hopefully just got the air knocked out of him. You never like to see any competitor knocked out, let alone someone who has been so meaningful for his ball club. Iacomelli, 10 touchdowns on the season.
Handoff, Iacomelli running left, strung out, wrapped from behind, and he will finally be forced to the turf by guess who, Jameer Harbor.
I was just going to say, number 5 finding a way to end up on top of that pile, and had another couple words to say as he trotted back over to the defensive side. He's another one of those guys that just plays nasty, and he just brings it every time. Able to get away from the blocker and just single-handedly drives that pile backwards.
Vince, how about the closing speed by the D lineman, Asante Martin, on that strung-out play to reach out, grab from behind, and catch Cade Iacomelli.
That's such an underrated piece of that defense, is the speed and the athleticism of those defensive linemen for the Gators.
20 seconds to go here in the third quarter as Penn-Trafford has held it for the vast majority of this third frame. Play action, boot to the right this time for Greene, trying to cut it back, now cuts it back right. Nifty moves in the open field, gets close to the first down flag. I think he'll be a yard short, but nonetheless it'll be fourth and very manageable as we head to the fourth quarter.
Greene is incredibly elusive. You see he does just enough to freeze up Harper here. That little move right there. You see Harper had him there. If he's able to make that tackle, it's probably 4th and 3, 4th and 4. Maybe they think about bringing up the field goal unit. Now, I wouldn't be so shocked if we see them go straight ahead once again with Iacomelli or Greene. And 4th and 1, that's a real easy conversion for a team like Penn-Trafford. That's their bread and butter right there.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it, Vince, because we've seen that Gateway's offense has been reasonably anemic here in the second half. They ran 6 plays in the third quarter offensively.
And we've seen that at multiple points in the season, opponents, taking those chances in the second half. As you see, it's chilled just a little bit here. It's still a beautiful night. Getting a little windy. I had to hang on to my notes here. They're flying around a little bit.
Yeah, I put on my jacket, getting a little breeze from the open door behind us through the open window in front of us. But overall, it is still a beautiful, beautiful evening. Maybe if I could have a heater under the table, I'd feel completely comfortable. But of course, that's upstairs with our director, Larry George.
But to your other point, absolutely. I mean, this has happened numerous times in the second half where teams have sort of dared the Gateway offense to make plays, to sustain long drives, and they routinely have not here in the second half of games. And I apologize if it sounds like I'm being overly critical, but tell me where I'm wrong with this offense. And I want to see that happen because it's so much fun to see these playmakers in open space, to see Patrick Bodie going up and making that two-handed catch down at the 10-yard line. But we just haven't seen that in the second half of games this season, and it has been the chief reason why this team is 4-2, not 5-1 or 6-0.
And this is a vastly different circumstance when you take a look at Penn-Trafford physically and depth-wise versus Thomas Jefferson and Pine Richland. Those two teams, huge guys, number one. Number two, tons of depth to throw at you. Penn-Trafford not playing nearly the same type of depth or nearly with the same size of guys. Greene steps under center. He was stacked up initially, but got a little help from behind from Iacomelli. And Greene picks up the first down for Penn-Trafford in its 1st and 10, right at the red zone.
And already you got to start thinking about if this drive takes another couple minutes here and they put up 7, now you're down 2 scores because of the safety earlier on. And you've got to get the ball down the field and try and make hay while you can, because time's against you now in the fourth quarter.
Motion man from left to right brings a wing to the tight end on the right as well. Hesitation by Iacomelli, but the hole closes quickly as Gateway sniffed that one out. But the patience by this Penn-Trafford offense is absolutely remarkable. 3 yards, cloud of dust. 4 yards, cloud of dust. And they'll pick it up on 3rd or 4th down every time because they're able to constantly move the ball forward on you.
Yeah, it's a trust within their own process, within their own culture, and their own identity as a team. And, no need to be urgent whenever things are continuing to work at the pace you're playing.
Motion man from right to left. He'll settle as a wing to the left. They'll run against the strength of the near boundary Greene gets wrapped up in the backfield. Making the tackle is Kenny Lewis. There's a big crackback block, which ended up being fairly inconsequential to the play because it ends up being a 1-yard loss nonetheless.
Yeah, I think that's Harper here at the bottom of your screen. Gets through momentarily and just gets walloped by Iacomelli. That's a big boy block right there.
It sure was. No, I thought it was a crackback block because that was the kind of play that I remember Joe Walton's offense running at Robert Morris University, where the receiver on the wing on the right-hand side would crack down on an outside linebacker, much like what I thought happened there, but instead it was just the tailback coming through with the wallop on Harper. Trips left, 2 to the right. Empty set. Greene pressured. Tosses to the far boundary, and the pass will be incomplete. Over on that far sideline, catching the football was Tommy Kochstein. However, he caught it out of bounds.
Yeah, nice grab, but just ran out of real estate. Quarterback held onto the ball just a little bit too long. Receiver not doing a good enough job putting himself in a position to catch that one in bounds. He was close, but as you see there, that entire cleat coming down in the white.
Good job, Joe Slick, catching all of that one as those feet were out of bounds.
And a good job by Bodie getting a push in there just to make sure.
Field goal unit on here on 4th down and 9. Decent snap, field goal up, pressure on, but the field goal is up and in for Nathan Schlesinger. So the good news for Gateway is it remains a one-score football game with 9:48 to go here. The bad news is that score now has to be a touchdown, and we haven't seen much from the Gateway offense here in the second half.
The table is set. You bend, but you don't break on defense. You do give up 3. That one looked like it almost was going to get blocked. But Schlesinger with a really great kick there. And yeah, I mean, this is, the table is set. If you're going to be a championship team, these are the moments where you rise to the occasion and you prove to yourself that you've got what it takes to make plays when your back's up against the wall. I'm really interested to see what the play calling looks like for the Gators here, see if they try and get a little balance going here. Reynolds has been an effective ball carrier whenever they've called his number throughout the season, but they haven't allowed him to get involved in the offense at all since the first drive of the game.
Now's an opportunity for somebody like Hunter Dow to call that offense together. Tell his co-offensive lineman, let's get it together. Tell the young guys that handle the football, let's get it together. And if they can get it together, they can reclaim the lead. But they need to prove that they can do that here in the second half. Schlesinger to kick it off. This kick will carry again into the end zone for a touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 for Gateway at the 20. What a leg by Nathan Schlesinger. 6 feet, 185 pounds. And this kid's got the leg and accuracy to be that type of kicker at the next level.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw him drill a 42-yarder to end the half, and that one would have been good by another 10, 15 yards. He really got a hold of it. And so both teams sporting a couple good place kickers here, as we've seen Plaskin now with 3 made field goals on the season. Those are the little marks of championship teams, being able to execute in all facets of the game.
So it's gut check time for the Gateway offense. See what they can do here. 1st and 10 at their own 20, the ball on the left hash. Brad Birch in the shotgun, Reynolds to his right. All kinds of time initially. Now Birch going to take off running. Still on his feet, spun down at the 25-yard line. And somehow, with long strides, was able to make something out of nothing there as he slid through a tackler and made it work.
Once again, going with play action. I don't understand why they're not handing the ball off. And if they continue to run plays like this, I think Birch able to get away that time. That's not going to happen every time. You got to switch things up here. 2
receivers and a wing to the right. Hand off. Reynolds running right. Went to cut back left, and he was hit very hard by Cade Iacomelli. Woo, big hit there by Iacomelli, but still positive yards on the ground for Gateway. It's 3rd down and 2, and Gateway has got all 8 yards this drive on the ground.
I don't know what happened when Iacomelli got lit up by Jameer Harbor, but that really set something off, and Iacomelli, he looks like a man possessed now. He had that big block on Harper the last time out on defense, and I don't understand how that's allowed to happen, where the defense is able to jump into the neutral zone like that.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, if you breach the neutral zone, if your movement as a defensive lineman forces an offensive lineman to move, I know at least at the next two levels, college and NFL, it goes against the defense. Right now, Don Hall is over there, hands on hips, not a happy camper as these officials confer.
You'd have to think that at least bodes somewhat well for the Gators. The last time they just called it without any deliberation. Now they're going to talk to Don Hall over on the sideline. See what the call is.
It's going to go against the Penn-Trafford Warriors. I'd have to look pretty deep in my officials' signals to see what that was, as John Ruane now wants to get an explanation. Yeah, I mean, you see the linebacker step in. You see three defensive linemen all flinch.
Yeah, it's pretty basic football. You're just not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to get into the face of an offensive lineman and get into that neutral zone.
Gateway goes back to the ground here on 1st down and 10. And parenthetically, that was their first down of the second half, and it came via a penalty on 3rd down and 2 as Reynolds picks up a handful before being driven back.
This time it's the Gators getting a pretty decent spot. Reynolds picked up maybe a handful, 3 at most, but he got about 5 yards on that one. We're going to go back to him here again. Another decent run.
Yeah, Reynolds picking up 2, maybe 3 as he crosses the 40 to the 41, making it a 3rd and very manageable 2.
I like the no huddle here from the Gators, trying to keep Penn-Trafford off balance. Now's a chance we can actually hit him with the play action, see if they do it. Now, open play at him. I think that ball might be out.
I think it was, Vince. If not, they're going to at least say that the forward progress was stopped long before the Penn-Trafford Warriors pulled the ball away. But that was a circumstance where Birch saw what was going to happen to Reynolds there, wanted to pull it out of the belly and make something happen himself.
Got to flinch this time.
Yeah, I saw it's going to cost Gateway 5. And another offensive drive for the Gateway Gators, stalling after things look a bit promising.
I know there's 7 minutes left, but yeah, I think, are you taking the punting unit out? Now you're not. Let's see what they do. It looked like for a second they were going to bring the punting unit on. They're going to leave that offense out there on a 4th and 9, deep in their own territory. But I don't know, Adam, maybe it is the right call because you give the ball back to Penn-Trafford. You've already used 2 timeouts. They've been grinding that clock down. Feels like you kind of got to go for it here. But
Birch is going to boot it away. And
what do I know?
Well, this is a good one because it's going to flip the field a good while all the way down to the 9-yard line. But right now the Gateway defense has to come up big, and they have to do it quickly. They can't allow Penn-Trafford to move the football a significant amount of yards because we've seen them kill so much of the clock here in the second half. Gateway's still within striking distance, but Penn-Trafford has done so much to take air out of this football game.
Yeah, you look for a guy like Carson Engelke to get in there, disrupt things, and strip the ball once again. We saw that. We've seen it a number of times this season, but we saw them generate that turnover earlier. They weren't able to capitalize off it. Now's the time where you got to go. You got to make that happen. So I anticipate you're going to see a lot of guys punching at the ball, trying to strip it from Yakimelli, from Greene, whoever's carrying the ball, and they're going to need that turnover, or else I'm not super confident that they're not going to run off enough time here to make this one hard to get back into for the Gators.
Greene running left. He was, Engelke was held. I mean, everybody in the stadium saw that one. I don't think the Warriors fans are going to be too happy, but Carson Engelke got his jersey grabbed, and this is going to cost Penn-Trafford half the distance to the goal line from the 9.
And I'm almost certain that was Jack Jolly again, the tight end. He's been all over him tonight. I mean, hands everywhere. And yeah, now, you know, the one fortuitous thing, you give the ball back off the punt from Birch, but now you've pinned your opponent back inside the 5-yard line. Yeah, big time hold there. You see for the second time tonight, Jolie getting called, holding Engelke big time there, grabbing the back of the jersey.
So this is going to be first down and about 15. They're going to march the ball back to the 4, just inside of the 5, I should say. Greene looking to throw. Down the near sideline. Pass intended for the receiver down this near side, and Jacob Otto is incomplete. And good news for Gateway. That stops the clock on 2nd down and 14.
Well, good news for Gateway. I think they might have got away with a defensive hold here. A little pass interference. Take a look, see if we see it. Carson Engelke there. Just a little grab on the jersey there. Just enough to slow down the receiver. Now, the ball wasn't going that way, so officials not really looking at it, and thankfully that was overthrown for the 3rd time tonight. Greene lacking a little bit of touch on the deep ball there, airmailing it once again, but a missed call benefits the Gators for the 1st time tonight.
Pistol formation with Iacomelli behind Greene. They're going to hand off to Iacomelli. Bouncing to the near side right. Nice closing speed by the first Gator, Engelke, and then finally strung out on the play was Iacomelli by Demetrius Harper.
And a good job by Harper not hitting late as Iacomelli went out of bounds. Now you force a 3rd and long. Iacomelli gets the edge, but only for a second. Good angle there by Harper, and once again, just a nice little shove there out of bounds. Not taking the personal foul. Penalties have been a real issue for the Gators so far tonight. They can't afford another one here. They've got to be able to get this Warriors offense off of the field here with a 3rd down conversion.
Super beneficial, by the way, that Harper was able to push Iacomelli out of bounds to stop the clock with 6:14 to go here. Now it's Greene by himself on 3rd down and 8. Greene rolling right, throwing right. The pass to the near sideline is caught, and that's more than enough for a 1st down as Cade Iacomelli on the catch for the Penn-Trafford Warriors. The only benefit is that the clock stops in that circumstance.
Golden opportunity to flip the field there, force a punt deep within your opponent's territory. It's been those comeback routes that have really been big, as you see. Was there a little bobble there? No, really great concentration there by Iacomelli to look that one in. That's a catch through and through. Well, those comeback routes, those timing routes have been crucial for Penn-Trafford. They're not a team that moves the ball very well through the air, but they've done just enough here to move the sticks on a few different 3rd and long situations.
Handoff, Iacomelli wrapped up near the line of scrimmage and brought down. Not much room there. Is all kinds of white jerseys involved in that tackle, and I'll tell you what, Cade Iacomelli is going to be a sore young man tomorrow.
Absolutely, but he's doling it out as well. You take a look, he's hard to bring down. He keeps those legs moving, and those Gators have to be in there. It takes 3-4 guys to bring this guy down. It's the reason why he's going to the Big Ten next year.
Empty set this time as Greene by himself with trips left, tight end left, one receiver to the short side right. Up the middle goes Carter Greene, now running to the near boundary and forced out of bounds by Demetrius Harper. The officials are going to keep the clock winding as they say that Harper had stopped his forward progress in the field of play.
Yeah, tough break there. The Gators have done a good job forcing plays out of bounds.
And this is an area of the game where those 2 timeouts the Gateway squandered earlier could come into play, especially if Gateway makes a stop here, because Penn-Trafford's going to use all of the play clock prior to the punt if they don't get the 1st down. Pistol formation, Iacomelli behind Greene. Greene, bootleg, near side. Brought down to the backfield by Carson Engelke.
Yeah, they fooled him once on the boot there. They weren't going to do it again. Great job there. Engelke read it completely. You'll see him there at the back, right side of your screen there. Just takes off immediately. No hesitation. Gets The ball carrier wrapped up, able to grab those ankles after laying the initial boom. That's an excellent play.
And what I loved about what Carson Engelke did there, Vince, is he made the hit. He didn't get the good wrap, but he used his entire body to shield Greene from going forward. A very heady player in a fast circumstance there, to know what to do with your body to avoid the player from getting past you.
That's what you need to expect from a senior. That's the kind of play that a guy like Engelke needs to make. He did. And now you force a tough decision. You'd have to think you're going to see the punt team come out here. And so, again, your defense has done its job. You've allowed just 3 points here in the second half. Now it's time for the offense to rise to the occasion. Should they get the ball back here on a punt, I really do think they've got to find a way to get the ball into Bodie's hands consistently, whether it's a jet sweep, bubble screen, even a wildcat formation look. I don't know if they've ran any of that this year. We certainly haven't seen it, but he's the guy that's the hardest to bring down and the most likely to spring a big play, and they haven't been able to sustain long drives, so you're looking for a home run. That's what I'm dialing up if I'm Coach Hall.
Big situation here for Brett Birch as well, the return man for the Gateway Gators, who stands at his own 30 all by himself. The punter is Josh Huffman. Good snap. Spiraling punt. Birch going to catch it. And Birch did not fair catch that one. He tried to do something with it, and a great job holding on to the football with Tommy Kalkstein right there.
Yeah, no room to move there for Birch, and good job coming up and catching that one. See him starting to grow a little bit as a punt return. Earlier in the season, he would have let some of those bounce. Gets up there in the middle of traffic, is able to catch one. Probably should have called for the fair catch, be safe. But he learned from earlier fumbling the ball. He had a death grip on that one. And so 65 yards to pay dirt, Adam. We'll see if they can do it.
I wonder if, oh yeah, it is. I was saying those, I was going to say, do those umbrellas mean that the rain has started again? And sure enough, it has. So that could put a damper on the Gators' air attack as they're going to run the option right. Brett Birch, wow. This kid has shown some wheels today that we have not seen this season. And Brad Birch with a big first down out to the midfield stripe. And right now, if you're Gateway, time is on your side. You want to use time. You want to use clock. You want to score and not give Penn-Trafford an opportunity.
Yeah, your goal should be for this to be your final offensive possession for the night. So you treat it as such. You don't worry about what else is going to happen, because right now you control your destiny.
Back to the ground. Reynolds running left. Gets met 1 yard deep in the backfield, but lays backwards to get back to the line of scrimmage. Nice job making the tackle there for Jack Jolly for the Penn-Trafford Warriors.
That's something I really appreciate about Reynolds, is he's one of those running backs that always seems to be falling forward. And that's crucial. Those extra couple yards make things a lot more manageable.
2nd and 10. Birch running right again, tucks inside of the 45-yard line and brought down at the 43. Well, Brad Birch right now, the sophomore, putting the Gateway Gators on his shoulders.
Yeah, good decision there to pull it out. He's able to outrun the linebacker there. Makes a nifty little move inside. Able to shy away from the contact there too. That's a really nice play to be able to shield himself from taking a big-time hit.
3rd and 3, pistol formation, power pistol with both Birch brothers. Now it's Brad Birch. He pulled it out of the belly of Jaquan Reynolds, and Brad Birch kind of backed his way forward for a gain of 2 and brings up 4th down and 1. And the football game may ride on this play.
I was going to say, that's okay. You got another opportunity. Gators are well aware this is 4-down territory. And a good job there maintaining balance and forcing himself backwards. Just willing himself towards that 1st down marker. But here we go, Adam, 4th and 1.
Motion man is Birch. Handoff, Reynolds. He's met in the backfield and brought down. Knifing through, making the play for Penn-Trafford, Jacob Haynes. And in all likelihood, that will do it for this football game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the play call.
I don't understand going out of the shotgun on 4th down and 1. Even if you're in a pistol, a power pistol, you've got to do something to go to that line of scrimmage a lot faster. Not a slow developing play, allowing Haynes to come in and make the play. Taking another look at this one.
They had that red from the get-go, knifing through there. Jacob Haynes made the difference, didn't need any help, was able to take Reynolds down, and now into the victory formation. Again, Gators coming up just a little bit short in some of these big games. Just not enough offensive firepower, and it guts you because the defense has been spectacular this season. They're just not getting enough on the other side of the ball.
Matthew Brooks on that last offensive play, he knew he didn't make the block, allowing the linebacker, Jacob Haynes, to make the play, leading to the tackle of Jaquan Reynolds in the backfield. I don't know if you saw it on that block, or on that last replay, but he just grabbed his face mask. He knew he made a mistake. .118 to go here. And finally taking the knee after stepping back and standing there for a while was Carter Greene. And we're getting word that elsewhere in the WPIAL, some games are falling under lightning delays. Now, we had a 7:30 start, but because of the way Penn-Trafford controlled the ball in the second half, things sped up in real time. So, this game is going to end, and we're going to get it under the wire here, but looks like Penn-Trafford defeats Gateway 15-10 and holds on to the victory bell.
Yeah, Gators will have to wait another year to try and get that one back, as this will do it here. This will be the last play of the game. And they've been in all these games. It's certainly some frustration for the Gators down there, but no need to get into the grill your opponent. They'll have another crack at it next week.
Penn-Trafford very excited. Gateway very upset with the outcome of this football game. And if you're on the offensive side of the football for the Gateway Gators, you have got to be extremely frustrated with the way you played, most especially in the second half.
And it's worrisome. You can't allow this to taint your visions of what this season could be. You start to wonder if doubt is going to continue to creep into the offense here, and if they start to shut down in the second half of games against teams like Penn-Trafford. I have no doubts they'll rebound next week, but they are playing a Woodland Hills team that one of the strengths that they do have is a defense. So it gives you a little bit of worry that does doubt start to creep into this offense? They start to believe that they can't do it. We'll have to see.
And Vince, even if Gateway runs the table, goes into the playoffs as the number 2 team out of this conference, they go into the playoffs with that doubt in the back of their mind, regardless of if they run the table and they blow out the next 3 opponents. I don't think it matters much, because results against Penn Hills, Latrobe, Woodland Hills, Connellsville, and Franklin Regional don't matter when you've seen what happened against Thomas Jefferson, Pine Richland, and here Penn-Trafford.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, Adam, and it's disheartening because your defense, they've shown that they can hang in these games and they can be difference makers. I will say the one thing they haven't done this season that they did last year was generate turnovers. That's one thing that we haven't seen the Gators do an excellent job of this year, and they're losing that turnover battle in games. They're losing the penalty battle in games. So it's those little things that are continuing to add up that have prevented Gateway, on top of it, not finishing drives offensively, from really achieving that full potential.
And you've got to be frustrated if you're Jaquan Reynolds and even Birch with the fact that you were able to run the football in the second half, in the fourth quarter, with an opportunity to win the football game. And you've got to wonder, should you do that in the third quarter? Can you start to put together some drives? Even if they don't lead to points in the third quarter, you establish some sort of offensive identity instead of in the third quarter running just 6 offensive plays.
Well, you keep your offense on the field. I mean, even if you go 3 and out running the ball, you're on the field at least another 90 seconds longer than we'd be just passing the ball. We've seen so many drives end in under 30 seconds for the Gators because it's a quick 3 passing plays, and then they're back on the bench. The defense is back out there. To their credit, again, they held a team to 15 points overall tonight. But I just don't know that that's sustainable long term when you go into the playoffs against other teams. You're going to have to be, especially as the weather turns cold, get some snow in the area. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to establish a running game at some point, Adam.
How about that chess game from John Ruane today? He did everything he could to just keep the ball out of the hands of the dangerous Gateway offense. He killed clock at every point he could, even in the latter stages of that second quarter. A field goal drive that we thought probably should have been an opportunity for a touchdown, but instead they got the points that Gateway gave them, took the lead into the locker room, and that would have been enough to win the football game even without the second half field goal.
Yeah, an excellently coached game, and I think Penn-Trafford has shown that they are a legitimate contender. We thought this might be a statement game for Gateway. The other sidelines, it was a statement game for the Warriors. They showed that they've got the moxie, they got the coaching, they got the discipline. They didn't take a lot of silly penalties. There weren't a lot of the procedural issues. A couple, but not many. And they've shown that they're going to be a very hard team to beat coming down the stretch.
Next week, Woodland Hills comes to Gateway, the first of 2 straight home games for the Gators in conference action. And like you said earlier, Vince, Woodland Hills, they've got a good defense. Their offense not able to put a lot of points on the board other than tonight where they put up over 20. But overall, a strong Woodland Hills defense has got to get Gateway a bit worried headed into next week.
Yeah. I'm still confident. I think the Gators are going to be very heavy favorites in the remaining 3 contests. They finished 7-3. They should still get a decent seed. They don't have a bad loss on their resume, the Gators, and they're all close losses. 2 defending state champions at 4 and 5A, and a rival that you took down to the very end and just couldn't get the ball into the end zone. So there's still a lot of hope for the Gators here. This is not all doom and gloom, but you definitely need to be mindful. Tim Bossard's going to have his team ready. This is another one of those rivalry games where all these guys know each other. They're right down the road. We saw this game come down. We didn't think it was going to be a close game last year. Wolverines made it a 21-16 contest at the Wolverina that came down to the last play. So I anticipate that it'll be a physical game, but I'll put my money on the Gators.
15-10 is your final score. Gateway with the loss falls to 1-1 in conference action. Penn-Trafford now 2-0 within the conference, and they are in the driver's seat headed towards the playoffs. Well, that will do it for our coverage this evening. For my broadcast partner, Vince Russo, our entire crew upstairs, we thank you for joining us here on YouTube, Facebook, and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. We'll talk to you again from Gateway next week.